Good morning, students. So today we'll start with the new syllabi, new course, Management Process and Behavior. So this is semester one syllabus, and altogether you have 5 blocks. So in the first block, you're going to learn about the management and planning. And the second block, you're going to learn about the decision making and organizing. Directing, controlling, and coordination is dealt in third unit. Organizational behavior and conflict management in the fourth, and the stress management and organizational dynamics in the fifth block. So the total content will try to help you to understand what management is. Now, coming to the first block, introduction to management and planning. So what is management? So generally, the basic definition what students give is management is what a manager does. So that is the basic definition. So what does a manager do? So a manager is going to plan, he's going to take the decisions, he's going to organize, he's going to motivate his employees, control the human resources, and provide with the financial assistance, physical resources, and he is an intermediary between the management and the employees. So he will be leading. So management, by definition, if we talk, it is a process of planning, decision making, organizing, motivating, controlling, and financial and physical assistance provided to the employees. So when we are talking about management and planning, so a manager has to focus both on managing the people, also efficiently planning the human resources. So what are the three basic resources which are required for a business concern? We need material resources, we need capital resources, and we need human resources. So material and capital can be scarce, you can manage, you can pull out the resources, you can pull out the capital and start the business. But ultimately, managing human resources is very, very difficult because it is managing people. So here we are going to learn how the manager is going to help in planning and decision making and try to lead the team towards the success. So when we are talking about the modern world, the present world, uh, utmost importance has been given to utilize the human resources economically, efficiently, okay? And economically, in the sense, you need to see the cost to the company should not increase, the cost of resources should not increase because the overall expenditure is going to increase and makes the product dearer to the customer. So economically and efficiently. So what does efficiency mean? When we are talking about the efficiency, it is the way you are utilizing the resources. I mean, if it is 8 hour schedule or 9 hour schedule, the total 8 hours is planned so efficiently that the employee is putting his effort for the 8 hours, fetching revenue to the organization. So this is what the manager has to plan and do it. So coming to the definition, management is the process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in groups efficiently accomplishing the selected aims. So here you're talking about the people who are working in an environment, and these are the group of individuals. So when we say a group of individuals, it is a team. So the entire team is focusing on achieving or accomplishing the targets which have been put before the employees. So here we have the three major definitions of the management. That is, management is what a manager does. That is the basic definition what we give. So what does a manager do? He plans, organizes, staffing, maintaining or controlling the staff, directing, coordinating, and controlling the staff. So these are the 6 major things what a manager does. And coming to the coordination, when we are talking about the coordination, he will try to coordinate the human and the physical. Both he's going to do the coordination. Now, why management is important? Management is very important And the definition, again, if you are talking about Peter F. Drucker, it is a dynamic life-giving element in every organization. So management is nothing but it is a dynamic life which gives every element in the organization. It considers every aspect in an organization which will be covered under the management. So, what is the first step? Optimum use of resources. Now, what do you mean by optimum utilization of resources? See, when you're not utilizing the resources, what happens? Automatically, you're wasting the resources. I mean, you already bought the resources, you spent money, you bought them, and you're not putting them to use. What happens? This expenditure will try to increase the overall cost of production. So, the best way is to optimum utilization of resources, using the resources wherever required, how much ever required, without wasting them will fetch you additional revenue. Effective leadership and motivation. So, leadership is nothing but somebody who leads you in the right direction, tries to help you do your task, gives you the directions, gives you the steps how to proceed with the work, and he will also motivate. Now, what is motivation? Motivation is something which pushes you to perform a task. So, this motivation is again internal as well as external. So, internal, where the individual within himself feels that, no, this is my task, I have to complete. Maybe whatever may be the end result, whether it is increment, whether it is salary, whether it is satisfaction, or whether it is promotion, all this is internal. But the moment I say external, external is the work environment, the where the person is working, the team, the members, the group, the kind of leadership, the kind of coordination, and the superiors and the subordinates. So all these aspects will be covered under motivation. So management will try to provide you with proper kind of leadership as well as motivation and sound industrial relations. Now, what do you mean by industrial relations? Industrial relations, who are the parties in the industrial relations? When I say an industry, you have three major parties. One is government, one is employer, and the other one is employee. So, if all these three work coordinating with each other, then the end result would be, you all know, prosperity, right? So here, when we are talking about the industrial relations, maintaining a proper industrial relations, sound industrial relations, all depends upon these three actors or these three participants. Now, the next is achieving the goals. So whatever the management has decided. So, as I said, a manager will also help in decision making. So, once the decision has been taken, now this decision has to be proceeded towards goal orientation. You need to achieve whatever goal you have been put forward, whatever the management has assigned to you, you need to achieve that. So, it can be the growth or it can be for the improvement of the standard of living. So, whenever we say goals, goals can be individual goals and organizational goals. So every organization will try to focus on employee achieving the individual goals. So what can be the individual goals for an employee? Can be salary, I mean good salary, increment, promotion, incentives. Okay, so all these are the individual goals. Now to achieve this, he is going to put his 100%, the 8-hour schedule or 9-hour schedule, he's going to work so efficiently so that he's able to reach his individual goals. And if every employee is reaching this individual goal, now will the company simply increase the salary? No, the company or the organization will increase the salary provided the overall production is increasing, the overall profitability of the organization is increasing. So when the profitability is increasing, automatically the company will try to give the share. I mean, it can be the minimum or the percentage share, whatever it is, but it is going to provide with the share of profits to the employee. So here the individual goals are achieved, and along with the individual goals, the overall organizational goals will be achieved. So coming to the nature of the management, it is an universal process. So wherever there is a human activity, there is management. So we have the factors of production. Now, what are factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So these are the four factors of production for which the organization will get rent, wages, interest, profits. So here, when I'm talking about the factors of production, so the manager will try to see that these factors of production are appropriately used so that the returns are going to match the factors. Now, the goal orientation. So whenever there's a goal which has been framed, now what is a goal? These are the objectives of the organization, which are divided into measurable achievements. So whatever objective or whatever goal which has been set should be measurable. Now, why it is measurable? Because unless you measure it, you cannot achieve it, right? So the goal-oriented the behavior, and then you have group activity. So you have to understand that when management, the principle of the management says that teamwork, it will always focus on teamwork. No individual person can achieve 100%. So you should always work in teams. And group activity, what do you mean by group activity? The team members will be assigned with certain tasks. Each member is assumed that the task will be completed so that the final output or the final goal will be achieved. So that is the group activity, what the management does. And it is a dynamic function, so it cannot be static. Whatever you say, if you put a hammer on the table, that table and the hammer will not be there for years and years, right? So that is a static. So there's no growth. When we are saying management, management is always dynamic. It will change according to the situation, according to the environment. Now, coming to the characteristics of management, you have invisible forces. Again, it is all repetition, goal-oriented, integrative process. So, what does the manager do? Manager will try to integrate his knowledge, his expertise, his skills, so that the same can be transferred to the employees, and together the manager and the employees try to achieve the overall task or the goals or the objectives of the organization. And it is multidisciplinary knowledge. Yes, a manager should have multidisciplinary knowledge. He cannot have one single knowledge. Then he's not a leader. A leader should definitely have the other aspects of knowledge where he can focus, where he can control, where he can guide, where he can coordinate. And when we are talking about the management, whether it is a science or art, it is both science and art, because uh, it is an art because you're applying your skills. I mean, whatever the thinking, the ability, the decision making. And why is it a science? Because it contains the principles which are drawn from social sciences like psychology, sociology, etc. And it is also an universal application. So as per Henry Fayol, the father of the management, the man who contributed certain principles of management, and these principles can be applied in almost all the situations in an organization. Now, what is the difference between administration and management? So when I'm saying administration, administration involves decision making. It can be the objectives or policies, whereas management, it will try to execute the functions. Okay. So here in the administration, you are at the top. You just say that this is what I want. But when it comes to the management, the entire objective is broken into some parts, achievable parts, quantifiable parts, measurable parts, and then they will achieve them one on one. And coming to the administration, administration is always at the top level where they try to just, sit, decide, plan, and just give the orders, just give the information to the next level of management. Whereas the management, it comes from middle and the lower level. So the middle level will try to help in executing the objective, and the lower level will try to work on the objective. Okay. So generally, when we talk about the administration, the owners are the people who actually belong to the administration category, and the employees who work for remuneration come under the management. And coming to the usage, mostly in government, military, educational, social, and cultural institutions, we find administration. And when it comes to the management, it is all in the business. Now, coming to the levels of management is nothing but it is the line of demarcation between various managerial positions in an organization. Okay, so you're going to demark the number of positions in an organization. So the number of managers also depends upon the size of the business, the number of employees. For example, if there are only 10 employees, then you can have only one manager who can just control them. Or you'll have five managers. Each one of them will control one person. So depending upon the size, depending upon the number of workforce, you have the levels of management. Okay, so generally you have three levels, the top level, the middle level, and the lower level. As I said, the top level will be always taking the decisions. The middle level will try to execute the decisions, and the lower level are the people who actually work on the goals. Okay. So for effective management, you need to have managerial skills. Now, what do you mean by managerial skills? There are three types of skills. That is the technical skills, human skills, and conceptual skills. Now, what do you mean by technical skills? The technical skills are nothing but the specialized skills. What you have technically, I mean the technical knowledge. For example, you're working, suddenly the machine stopped working, then whom do you call? You call your manager and say that, see, the machine is not working. So technically, whatever difficulties are there, a manager should be in a position to clear that. Okay, so it can be the technical assistance or it can be the technical guidance. I mean, you're manufacturing something and suddenly you're stuck somewhere, then your manager comes and helps you out with, I mean, some kind of technique. So instead of putting the material like this, maybe you can just put it like this, where the output is uh, more good, okay, or more better. So in that way, the technical skills will be provided. Human skills. Now, what do you mean by human skills? Human skills is nothing but the humanoid nature, the ability to work, the ability to understand, compassion, motivation. Okay, all these things will be very, very important because the more you are compassionate, the more you're able to understand, the more you're able to. One second, is the screen not visible, ma? Can anyone unmute and answer? It's visible, right? Yeah, I've seen a message asking for the share. So I just wanted to cross check, right? Okay, so the human skill, where you have the nature of understanding, being compassionate. Okay, so those are very important. And conceptual skills. Now, the conceptual skills, as it is said, it is the mental ability where you can coordinate, you can integrate the organizational interests and the activities. So here, what do you mean is you can look out at a big picture, okay, to understand how a change in any given part can affect the whole organization, and it is interrelated and it is contributing to the primary goals of the organization. Okay, so these three skills are very, very important, where you can give the technical support, you can give the human support, and you can also provide with the conceptual skills. Okay, so when we are seeing the skills, okay, so these three skills should be there with the manager to manage the people. Okay, now coming to the scope of management, yeah, it's a very important question from the examination point of view. So what does the scope cover? Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, and controlling. Okay. So these are the activities which will be covered under the scope of management. And the operational aspects of business management, and these are called as the branches of management. So what are the branches of management? It can be the production management, marketing management, financial management, personal management. So what is the production management? So the type of management which refers to the process of creating utilities. Now, what do you mean by an utility? Utility is nothing but finally, I mean, you are trying to procure the material, convert that raw material into finished or semi-finished, and then you supply the same into the market. Okay, so the production management focuses on creating the utilities. Okay, utilities is nothing but where something is given, something is offered, which will try to satisfy your need or want or desire. Okay, so in this way, what does the production management cover? The production management will try to convert, process the raw material into finished or semi-finished goods. And what does the marketing management deal? The marketing management is, it deals with the marketing. Okay, so the marketing, when I'm talking about, it is about from the production to the distribution to the consumption. Okay, so all these aspects are covered under marketing management. So when I'm talking about consumption, so who is there to consume? There is a buyer, there is a consumer who will actually buy the product, who will actually consume the product, and who is the basic person who is going to fetch revenue to the organization. Okay, and then moreover, convincing a buyer is a very difficult task. Okay, you give the product, you manufacture the product, you give the product. And is it necessary that every product which is entering the market will be procured or will be purchased by the consumer? No. A consumer is very, very choosy. Okay, so he will try to look with the five products, he will try to compare the main product with the competitors, with the substitutes, and then he will make a decision whether to buy or not to buy. Okay, so definitely a consumer will be very choosy in buying a product. So what does the management, I mean, what kind of a strategy should the management apply here? So in this competitive world, the management should also be very, very competitive in targeting the consumer. Now, the financial management, it covers the financial aspects like how much you're spending, how much you're getting. Okay, so what are your inputs or what are your outputs? Okay, how much is the income what you're receiving? How much is the expenditure you are making? So financial management deals with the management of the finance. Okay, so if you have 1 lakh rupees, you cannot spend entire 1 lakh and just wait for something else, right? If you're putting 1 lakh, you need to get some kind of a return. You cannot get 1 lakh return. If you're putting 1 lakh for the first year, maybe your returns will be around 5,000 or 10,000, right? And then slowly the returns will increase. So how much you should put, how much you should plan, how much you should save. All these aspects will be covered under financial management. And what is personnel management? It is not personal, it is personnel. Personnel means people. Okay, it's people in the sense the human resources. So you all know that capital or material can be planned, can be procured, can be adjusted. But the most difficult resource where you have to control is the human resources. You must be seeing, right, nowadays, if you see, talking about the labor, whether it is a construction business or any other business, the labor don't go regularly, right? Even if you're doing some kind of a repairs at home, you're constructing something, you hire labor. The first day all the laborers are there, the next day one of them is absent saying that they have some function or something, then slowly the number decreases. One day suddenly they don't come, the other day they come in odd timings. So managing personnel, managing human resources is very, very difficult. Okay, so that is where you have to plan. As a manager, you need to have the proper planning, proper coordination and control of these resources so that you can bring out the best from the human resources. See, ultimately the machines produce, but there should be someone who operates the machines, and that someone is a human resource. So again, when we go back to the management, it is managing the people. How better, how good you are able to manage the people, you're going to get that good results. Now, now coming to the evolution of management part. The origin or evolution of management can be traced back to the days when men started living in groups. So it can be the history when we are talking about the strong men organize the masses into the groups, and according to their intelligence, the physical and the mental capabilities, they're able to form groups and start with the functions, the management functions. Okay. And then we have the Roman Catholics and the military, and the complexities slowly changed from period to period. And finally, it is now the managers who manage the business. Now, when we are talking about the classical approaches, there are early contributions to the management, that is the classical approach. Now, the classical management approach is the theory of management which focuses on the productivity, output, efficiency of workers. So it doesn't focus on the differences in behavior that exists amongst them. Okay, it includes the scientific management approach, administrative theory, and bureaucratic model. Okay, so administrative theory, when you are putting the people to work, they have to work. Bureaucracy, I mean, whatever the top management or the leader is saying, you need to follow that. And coming to the scientific management, Frederick Taylor, he is regarded as the father of the scientific management, and he has given the principles of scientific management. And we have scientific management means knowing exactly what you want from men to do and seeing that they do it in the best and cheaper way. This is what Taylor said. Okay. Okay. What exactly you want from men, and you coordinate and control them in such a way that they do it. And you also see that they are doing it in the cheapest form. I mean, not uh, incurring the additional expenditure. Now, coming to the principles of scientific management, we have the replacement of rule of thumb. So, this principle suggests that work is assigned to any employee should be observed, analyzed with respect to each and every element. Okay. And it involves the time taken by the employee to complete it, how much time he's putting in to complete the task. All these things should be applied. Okay, and scientific selection, training, and development of workers. So the selection process should be designed scientifically, and the physical and mental requirements should be specified. Okay, so for example, you're appointing a fitter, electrical fitter, then definitely he should understand not only the electrical circuits or knowledge of that, but also the signboard, some minimum knowledge to understand the signboards or the language, or it can be putting some kind of a signal. So all these are the basic requirements. So the scientific selection, you need to put the conditions like what are the physical and the mental requirements to appoint a person. And workers should be selected and trained. Definitely, you need to select a worker, train him according to your work. Not every work is suitable, right? Maybe a person who has already completed a work, or he already has experience in doing a particular work. You cannot say that the same person can do the similar kind of work, right? So you need to train him according to the requirements of the organization, because all the organization doesn't work on the same line. Each one of them have their own set of work cultures. So you need to train the person, you need to train the worker according to the work culture, and then place him in the right position. Okay. And then you have the cooperation between the management and the workers' harmony. So Taylor believed that cooperation and not individualism. So, I mean, you're not into favors of individual employees, but you have to believe that with cooperation, I help you, you help others, that other person will help other person, and together we achieve the task. So he believed in cooperation and achieving the goals for an enterprise, not the individual goals he was talking about. He was talking about the organizational goals. And the division of responsibility. So here, uh, managers and workers, they both come under different levels, right? We have three levels of management: top level, middle level, and the lower level. So the middle level is the managers and the lower level is the employees or the workers. Okay. So here, though the disparity is there, the responsibility should be shared. So if you're not sharing the responsibility, I mean, when you just give an order by authority saying that complete this work, but to complete that work, maybe you need to assign, you need to transfer the responsibility as well that, okay, so this is your job, you're responsible for this, and this is how this has to be completed. Some kind of responsibility should be shared to the workers. You only give orders, you only dictate terms, work cannot be completed. Now, mental revolution, the workers and the managers should have a complete change of outlook. They both should feel that we are mutual. I mean, without you, I cannot exist, and without me, you cannot exist. If there's a mutual relationship between the managers and the workers, there is harmony, there is peace, and ultimately you get the results. Okay. And maximum prosperity for employer and the employees. Yeah, definitely. When all these principles are followed, you have the maximum prosperity. Now, coming to the techniques, you have the work study, time study, and the motion study. The work study, it investigates the work done in an organization. The time study, it covers the time period, that is the time taken by the workman to complete a task. Motion study is the number of motions, the number of steps what a worker has taken to complete a task. Standardization. Now, standardization is nothing but you try to standardize the tools and the equipments. If ABC are working a particular task, all ABC will be using similar kind of material, similar kind of tools, will follow the similar kind of procedures and techniques. Okay. A will say that, no, I'm not going to use this tool. I'm going to work in this way and I'm going to complete the task. B would say that, no, that tool will not help me. I'll use a different tool. So then there is no standardization. Each one of them is going in each different way. So you are not going to achieve the task. So here standardization means you try to set out the rules, the tools, the time, the work. I mean, how the work has to be completed, the number of steps which have to be utilized in completing the task. All these things will be standardized. Okay. And functional foremanship. Now, what is a functional foremanship? Okay, there should be a foreman. Who is a foreman? Who is going to monitor the group of workers. So he should be a specialized person, a technical person. See, for example, if somebody is guarding you, okay, somebody is monitoring you, somebody is checking your work, what do you expect? You expect that somebody should have knowledge, that somebody should help you whenever there is a difficulty. For example, you have a problem and you ask the foreman for a help, and the foreman says that, no, I'm not sure of what this is. I'm only assigned to monitor you people, but I don't know anything about the work. Don't ask me anything about the work. Can it be efficiently be completed? No. So the functional foremanship should be there. A foreman should be, technically speaking, should be in a position to help the workman. Differential piece rate. Now, what is this differential piece rate? So according to Taylor, the workers should be paid based on the number of pieces produced. Okay. So for example, you must be knowing the piece rate. What is piece rate? The number of pieces produced in an hour. For example, 10 pieces are produced, 10 pieces into 5 rupees, 50 rupees should be paid per hour to the worker. So this is the standardized piece rate production. If a worker produces 12 pieces instead of 10, okay, he's very efficient, he's very quick, he's very smart, he's able to increase the number of pieces production, then he should be paid a little higher. Instead of 5 rupees, he should be paid 6 rupees. So he will be earning around 72 rupees. Okay, so in that way, you need to pay a worker on differential piece rate basis. Now, coming to the administration theory, now Henry Fayol's contribution to the administration theory. Now, here the Fayol has given us the 14 principles of management. So these 14 principles of management are, sorry, 14 guidelines which will help the management achieve the target. So division of work, what is division of work? Instead of one person doing everything, you divide the work amongst 5 workers, give them the time schedule, see that the work is completed. And he believed in authority and responsibility. Only responsibility sharing will not help you. You need to have the responsibility as well as the authority shared. Discipline, it can be pertaining to the directions of the achievement or obedience or energy. So you need to be very disciplined when you're performing. Unity of command. I mean, each one is receiving a command from different set of people. Can you work? No. So unity of command says that if say set of 10 workers are there, they need to get commands from only one person. Okay, then they can perform better. If each 10 people get 10 commands from 10 different people, they don't know in which direction they are going. So unity of command is the command should be given by one person. Okay, because always two heads and one body is very difficult. So a body should have only one head, right? If two heads are there, two heads will be going in a different direction. That is what the unity of command means. Unity of direction, yeah. I mean, you should have a better coordination. The direction should be given to you in such a way that you achieve the task in a more appropriate way. Okay, individual interest to general interest. So workers should focus on the general interest and not on individual interest. If I'm doing this, this is the benefit what I'm getting. If I'm not doing this, this is the loss I'm going to get. So if everybody thinks in this way, what happens to the organization? There's no organization at all. Everybody is working according to their whims and fancies. There is no organizational goal. So Fayol said that instead of individual interest, it is the general interest which is more important for the workers. Fair remuneration. See, always the remuneration should be decided fairly. I mean, for the job, what the worker has done, the remuneration should be more or less equivalent to that. Okay. And the centralization, so the concentration of authority should be in the hands of few. So, like we have the top level is the group of people who take the decisions, who try to make decisions which are going to fetch revenue to the organization. So, he believed in the centralization of decision making. And the scalar chain. Now, this is very, very important. What is a scalar chain? It is a chain of superiors and subordinates from the highest to the lowest ranks. Okay. So, the command and the communication must go through this chain only. Okay. If you see this, this is the formal path and this is the gangplank. What is a gangplank? Gangplank is the grapevine. Okay. So, if you see this chart, A, B, C, a is giving command to D and D is giving command to E. Whereas C is giving command to B and from B it is going to A. So it is a formal path. This is a path which has been decided by the organization. And what does the gangplank mean? So instead of C reporting to B, if C reports to sorry, if C reports to E, what happens? There is a misdirection. So this kind of misdirection is called as gangplank. So gangplank uh, can be created only for the lower, I mean the bottom set of workers. But whenever it is the command should always come from top level. Okay. Order. It implies that the right man should be in the right place at the right time with the right material, then only you have the right kind of a production and the right kind of profits. So this order should be maintained by the organization. Equity, yeah, equity is very, very important. Equity is nothing but equality, giving justice, or it can be kindness, it can be the benefits. For everything, you need to have equity. Okay. And then you have stability of tenure. Now, why is this important? If there is no stability, there's no long-term existence. The worker or the employee will not feel that the organization belongs to them. And when they feel that the organization doesn't belong to them, they are not going to put their 100%. The effort is not put properly because they feel that, okay, organization is separate. I don't know whether I'm going to work here tomorrow or not. So why should I put my extra effort? Why should I work? Okay, why should I design differently? Why should I think differently? So this kind of atmosphere is not good for the organization. So it is always better that organization stabilizes the tenure of the employees who are working in their concern. And you need to have the initiative. It is regarding the thinking, or it can be the execution of a plan. There should be some kind of an initiation. And please don't expect that the initiation will come from the subordinates. Always a leader should initiate. So once the leader initiates, the workers or the subordinates, they generally follow the orders. And this kind of an encouragement is required for the subordinates. And the last one is the Esprit Decop. So Esprit Decop is nothing but it is unity is strength. Always a single person might not achieve the desired result, but if group of people are fighting for a cause, it can be any kind of a justice, definitely the group will win. So always unity is the strength. So coming to the bureaucratic model of organization, the bureaucratic model has been given by Max Weber. So what does the theory say? So the basic characteristics or the features of this bureaucratic organization are functional specialization. So you need to have specialization in the functions, whatever you are performing. Hierarchy of authority, yeah, definitely the manager, then the senior executive, then the lower level executive, and then the worker. So there is some kind of a hierarchy in the authority. Rules and regulations you have to follow. You have the rights and duties, you have the technical competencies, and you also have the record keeping and impersonal relations. Okay, so all these are proposed under the bureaucratic model, which was given by the German social scientist Max Weber. Now, coming to the other administrative theories, we have Herbert Simon, who has given the administrative management. And here he also focused on organization, decision making, communication, and rationality. So, a rational man is the one who makes the decision with clear information. He gives due consideration to all the factors which are available to make decisions. And based on that, he will try to give the decision which will make the impossible possible. Okay. And then you have the administrative man. An administrative man is bounded rationally. Okay, and he has the power to take decisions, and he has also the power to implement them properly. And the last one would be the behavioral approaches to management. This comes under the neoclassical theory. So till now we have dealt with the classical theory. So now coming to the neoclassical theory, according to this behavioral approach school of thought, all the behaviors can be unlearned and a new behavior can be learned. That is what the behavioral theories have said. Okay. So this was experimented through Hawthorne studies. Now, this Hawthorne experiments are conducted by Elton Mayo, and this Elton Mayo, along with his team, he has conducted 4 experiments under Hawthorne studies. So, under these studies, uh, we have 2 groups. He has divided the workers into 2 groups, and the 2 groups, one group was given timely lunch breaks, good environment, working environment, okay, and then they are provided with the leave breaks, good lighting, good ventilation, and they were allowed to leave within the stipulated time of their work. Okay, and the next group of workers were provided poor lighting. The working environment was not good. Okay, and I mean, the facilities which were provided to the first group were not provided to the second group. And they have experimented this for a couple of days and they have seen the productivity. So the team A, which was provided all the good, the productivity was more or less normal and same. And when the other group was tested, surprisingly, they have produced more. Why? when the reason was, investigated, the second group felt proud because they were selected for an experiment by the organization. So their feelings elevated and they felt that they are special to the organization. So in spite of bad lighting, bad working conditions, they could produce more because of the feeling that the management has given an opportunity. They have a special place because they have been tested. So that kind of experiments were conducted by Elton Mayo, and all these, they have conducted four kind of experiments, and all the four has given the results positively, saying that if a team has been selected and trained, definitely the results would be outstanding. And then we have the modern approach to the management. We have the quantitative approach. So the quantitative approach to the management, it involves the use of quantitative techniques such as the statistics, information models, or it can be the computer simulations, so which will actually help in the right kind of decisions, or it can be the operational approach. So the operational approach will try to attempt to draw together the knowledge of the management and relating that knowledge to the jobs or for the managerial position. So this is the operational approach where you bring the clinical experience, you bring the psychology, sociology, whatnot. All these things will be taken. The inputs from all these theories will be taken and applied. And then we have the systems approach. Systems approach, it depends upon the management process school. And a system, by definition, is a set or it can be the assemblage of the various interdependent or interrelated variables. Okay, so all these subsystems, all these interrelated variables will be called as a subsystem, and a system will comprise of many subsystems. So when all these are organized, they are assembled, they are combined, then definitely the complex form of a problem can also be solved easily. Now you have the contingency or situational approach. The situational approach deals with the situation. So whatever we plan, we put it on a paper, say that A, B, C, these are the steps what we are going to do. But when you actually approach a situation, maybe you cannot follow A, B, C in an order. Maybe you have to apply D from somewhere else. You have to bring that and put it in the problem. Then only you can achieve a solution. So the situational approach or the contingency approach says that maybe whatever you're planning is at the planning stage all the time. It all depends upon the situation and the complexities, what actually arise while you're working. So the situational approach focuses more on the situations, not on the planning or the paper. Now we have Peter F. Drucker, who has actually contributed a lot to the management principles. So he was the one who has given management by objectives. So what is management by objectives? Organization has set aside the objectives, and whatever management planning is there that is based on the objectives, you try to achieve the goals. So you manage you apply a management technique which will actually try to achieve the objectives in a more appropriate manner. So it can be scanning of the environment, or it can be the identification of the key result areas, or it can be the setting of the objectives. So you first try to scan the environment, set the objectives, actually apply the objectives, see the results. If deviations are there, you go back to your objective, remodify that, again retest it. So this is what is called as management by objectives. Okay. So we have Prahalad, who has also defined the core competencies, strategic intent, stretch, and leverage for the success of the companies. And coming to the nature and the need of the principles of management, why these principles of management are very, very important? Because it will help in understanding, improves the understanding levels, and it gives a proper direction and training to the employees. And moreover, it is a guide for research in management. And coming to the contemporary principles of management, we have the corporation as social movements. Traditionally, we thought of corporations as organizations that had clear boundaries, formal procedures, and they also have well-defined authority structures. So, in contrast, the social movements are seen as more spontaneous. Okay, and they term social movement to a type of group of actions that is more focused on specific political, or it can be the social issues, wherein they try to fight and they try to see that the end result is positive for the organization. And we also have organizational learning. According to David, learning organizations are nothing but they are the organizations, these are the organizations which will try to focus on creating, acquiring, transferring the knowledge. Okay. So whatever the skill is there, through that skill, they try to create, they try to acquire, they try to transfer, they try to modify, and they try to store and retrieve it as and when the knowledge is required. So these all come under knowledge organizations and knowledge organizations, virtual organizations. Now, these are the common phenomenon what we can see in the market. Virtual organizations, there's no as such an office or a space. Okay, virtually people are connected. Virtually people are working. Okay, I mean you can sit right now. I'm doing virtual, right? I'm sitting at my home or at my workstation, and you people are at your home, and I'm delivering a lecture. So this is a virtual organization. Okay, now coming to the functions of management, yeah, planning, organizing, staffing. Okay, so staffing planning is done by the manager. Okay, you plan what you do. And organizing, you see that whatever has been planned has organized properly so that the managers can bring together the material resources, the human resources, and put them together so that the overall goal is achieved. Staffing, bringing down the people together, directing, giving a proper direction, proper guidelines for the work. Okay, giving the orders. Apart from the orders, you need to motivate, you need to discipline, you need to give proper kind of leadership, you need to give the rewards. Okay, all this comes under direction. Controlling, yeah. The function is concerned with the appraisal of performance of various individuals. So you need to establish the standards. Okay, you need to measure the performance, and based on the performance, you need to appraise them. Okay, and if any corrective actions are to be taken, you need to guide them, asking them to take the actions, and then finally coordinating, helping each other. I help you, you help me. Together, we are going to get the results. So these are the, the principles of management, and we have the process, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. So coming to the systems approach to the management. In the systems approach, as I said, you have so many subsystems which are connected. So in a system, you take the inputs from the environment, whatever the resources are there, you take it from the environment, you process it, and you give the same process which has been put into finished or semi-finished output is given back to the environment in the form of an output. So input, output, in between we have the process where the transformation of the raw material or the conversion of the form of raw material into finished or semi-finished good is done. Okay. So this is what all about the first chapter, introductory chapter. Any doubts you have? Coming to the management practices in advanced countries. So advanced countries like USA and Japan, they are all known for their successful multinational companies. We have Walmart, we have Apple, we have Sony, we have Toyota. So many companies are there. Okay, when we are talking about Japan, Japan was completely destroyed by the nuclear attack, Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Second World War. But when everybody thought that Japan could not survive the atomic or the nuclear bomb attacks. So what really happened? People thought that, okay, the chapter of Japan is closed now, no longer Japan is a competitor. But what really happened? Japan emerged. Now, because of the nuclear bombing, their land's fertility has lost. So what did they do? They have gone for the indoor production, and they are also exporter of rice and other food grains. So what did they do? They have started doing indoor agriculture because the land fertility has been lost. So this is what happens when we are talking about the international, that is multinational companies. The success of the multinational companies, it all depends upon how best you are able to utilize your resources. So here we have the best practices in USA. So the business environment and the culture of the USA, if we see, there is large and open US markets which allow only the best managed firms to survive. So human capital is considered to be the important aspect by American government and the organizations. And in America, generally, there are a high percentage of students, they join for higher education to any other nations. So why do we have this? Because US has the flexible labor markets. It is much easier to hire and fire people, right? Hiring is very easy, as well as firing is also very easy in US economy. So what are the management practices which have been adopted in USA? When it comes to the planning, American managers usually adopt planning with short-term orientation. They don't focus on long-term. 3 years, 5 years. No, they only focus on the short term, 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Okay, so based on that, their planning I mean, the decisions, whatever they take, will all depend upon the planning period. Organizing, again, it is an individual accountability and responsibility. Unlike in India, where we have group of people under one coordinator or one foreman, in America, each one is assigned a responsibility and accountability, and staffing. Employees are hired from schools and universities as well as from other companies. So switching from one company to another company for better opportunities, for better career, all these are very common in America. Okay, and leading. The leader is the ultimate decision maker, and there's no more authority. So whatever the directions the leader gives, simply people will follow. And coming to the controllings are initiated by the superior. Now, coming to the Japan, the business environment and the culture of Japan, when we are talking, you can see the planning. Japanese managers adopt long-term planning orientation, and they do not make decisions alone. They consult the subordinates, and based on the subordinates' inputs, the final decision is taken. And organizing the whole team, including the managers and the subordinates, they take the accountability, they take the responsibility for the decisions. Staffing, young people are hired from schools and institutions as trainees. And once an employee joins an organization, they don't move, they don't switch from one organization to another organization for better opportunities or for better prospects. Okay, so once an employee has joined an organization, more or less he's there till his retirement with the same organization. And a leader, he acts as a social facilitator as well as a group mentor. And controlling is done by the peers. The peer team, the team members, they try to control the members. Okay. And when it comes to China, planning is both short term as well as long term. And decision is taken by the highest level of hierarchy in the organization, and the final decisions often are taken by the individuals at the level of the organizations. That is the CEO or someone, or the chairman. They generally take the decisions. And the organizing, it comes that the major responsibilities are assumed at individual level. Okay, and some responsibilities are collectively shared amongst the team members. And staffing, when most of the employees are hired from schools and other educational institutions, And also from other contemporary companies also people are hired. And when it comes to the promotion system is very slow. Salary increments are regular, but I mean the jumping of the scale is very slow in Chinese organizations, and the leader is the head of the specific group or a committee, and he is in charge of taking decisions and monitoring his team. And the controlling is also done by the group leader. Okay, so this is all what happens in China. Coming to the unconventional approaches, will continue tomorrow. I think it's already time. So I'll stop sharing. If any doubts are there, you can ask me. No doubts? Right then. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.